Hi guys. Well, I'm a little bit undone here. Welcome to Tez Talks episode 23, Q&A series 2. I find this question really sweet and endearing because I do not see myself as eloquent at all, actually. I'm such a and and kind of all over the place kind of person with my words. Sometimes I'll read interviews back and I sound completely uneducated, and I see all the ums and the pauses and the. I just had to liberate myself from anyone's judgment of me. And I remember when I was younger, I told myself this story that I wasn't smart. I didn't think I was smart. I didn't think I could engage with people in an intellectual manner. But I was always like, well, I'm goofy and silly and fun, and that makes up for it. Then as I got older, I realized that I judged intellect based on just purely academics, and I didn't know anything about emotional intelligence and about being streetwise and social intelligence. And then the further I kind of just got older, I guess, the more I realized that I was worthy. I knew about that sort of stuff. I had my own opinion. And it's my own voice. I have read lots and lots of books, and I'll take language from different books. I mean, typically the books that I read are kind of self-help, self-development, spiritual books, and I'll just kind of borrow phrases and words. I remember I borrowed peaks and valleys from somewhere years ago, and it's become a staple. I didn't even know what the word manifesting was 3 years ago, and I took that from a book. Recently, 2 words I've been saying a lot is marinate. I got that. Someone said that a couple of months ago, and I was like, marinate, I'm going to take that. And then my agent always talks about like the fabric of something. I was like, oh, fabric, I like that word. So it's funny. It's whenever I'm engaging in conversations with people who inspire me, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, I'm very switched on when I'm listening, and I will borrow phrases and words and terminology, and I'll do that from books too. And that's kind of how I've developed my vocab, I guess, or my way of expressing myself. It's all borrowed. I mean, how else do we learn language? We learn it from other people, right? We learn it from books. We learn it from teachers. And it has to feel authentic and organic to you. Authentic's another word that popped up in my vocab a couple of years ago. I was like, authentic, I like that. It feels good. Organic is such a word that I use. In flow, that's like a recent thing that I've been talking a lot about. And sometimes it's just stumbling across podcasts and really being inspired by something somebody says. And it sticks. Those words that resonate become a part of my overall vocab. So that's kind of how I've done it. And then I'm also not afraid to say like, kind of, because it's real, and I'd much prefer to be real than to be someone who can go up and do like a TED Talks and be completely eloquent without any pauses, because I'm real. I'm a human being, and I have thoughts, and I pause in my words. And I remember when I first started acting, I would just say my lines, and then I realized that no one actually talks like that in real life. People are always taking moments to pause. They stumble over words. They try and find words. Sometimes you'll say words that don't even make sense, but people kind of understand what you're trying to say. And that's okay, because it's real and it's human and it's to be embraced. So just chuck a lot of, as I always say, self-love and acceptance at it. Keep reading. Sometimes even you could write words down that you love. I have looked up words in a thesaurus before and been like, oh, what's another word of saying, another way of saying this? describing my husband's movie the other day, someone was like, it's a masterpiece. And then I was like, I like masterpiece. And then I found myself describing his film as a masterpiece. I was like, it's masterful. And I was like, oh, that's funny because I took that description from somebody else. But it is how I feel about it. And that's okay. So words are always borrowed, and it's just how we grow up. And I didn't used to speak like this when I was younger because I hadn't done the research. I hadn't met those people who inspire me. I haven't read all those books. So yeah, as you get older, you just kind of hold on to the things that resonate with you. Man, I was the worst teenager when it comes to this sort of stuff. Like Cassandra's laughing at me. My exams were not taken seriously by this person over here. So I guess I had a greater knowing. I just knew that I wouldn't really be using this in the future. I knew I was going to be doing something super creative. So I would go in for my business maths exam, and I think I'd probably crammed like 3 nights earlier. And I was always getting kind of B's and C's, and it didn't really bother me. But I think the main thing is not having the self-imposed pressure. If I could go back, I didn't really care. To be honest, I didn't put a lot of stock in my exams as a teenager. But I know a lot of people who did, and it actually could backfire on them. The ones that were so focused and put so much pressure and energy into their exams, it would backfire. And I know for me, when I have an audition, if I prepare and prepare and prepare and prepare, and like know it back to front, inside out, know exactly how I'm going to do it, I'm so prepared, sometimes I get there and I'm in the moment and I lose everything. So I've had to strike a balance between caring enough, but then also letting it go and just knowing it will be what it is. I'll be present in the moment. I'll try and be focused. I definitely think that it's important to eat healthily surrounding exams, have a clear mind, do some meditation, put a positive intention out in the world that you're going to go into an exam and you're going to have a really good experience and you're going to feel comfortable and you're going to know what you're doing, and then let it go. Then completely let it go, because the stress surrounding I must do good is going to be detrimental. You might not be sleeping, you might not be choosing healthy eating habits, and you go in there putting so much stock in these exams. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, when you're 40 years old and you're looking back, your exams weren't the biggest thing in the world. I mean, it feels so massive right now to you because you're a teenager and that's what you're navigating. But just know this feeling will pass. You'll go in there, you'll give it your best shot. Definitely learn your work, do it in advance, and then let it go and just let it be there. Without the overthought, the control. And I wish you luck. It's so cool being a teenager. I absolutely miss it. It was such an amazing time in my life. So enjoy yourself. Have fun. Don't know why I keep like unbuttoning my shirt. It's because this is my mum's shirt and I'm like, oh, it's so mumsy when it's not like this. Anyway, whatever. Detox. Yeah, I detox. I'm not hardcore with detoxing. For me, detox is just simply juices and smoothies and taking care of myself in that way. I will do things like, all right, I'm not doing any heavy refined carbs. So I'll do that maybe for a week. And I won't have any pizza and pasta and breads and that for me is a bit of a detox. And then I'll fill my days with green juice, like right here, green juices, protein powders, fruits and veggies, and that's my kind of detox. I've never been a fan of having a super low caloric intake because my metabolism completely freaks out the week after and I get overly hungry. So I still make sure I'm meeting my caloric needs, but using super clean foods. I hardly ever detox anymore. I actually find that detoxing makes me feel really tired, and I can drop weight in detoxing. I'm not someone who wants to drop a lot of weight, especially breastfeeding and now being pregnant. But I find it a quick fix. I think just cleaning up your diet and maintaining a clean diet with some treats here and there and being very open to whatever it is your body is craving. I think that for me is where I'm my healthiest and I have longevity. So my staples are green juices and protein bars, chocolate protein shakes, avocado, smoked salmon, things like that. And then I'll usually have one kind of heavier meal in the middle of the day, like a spinach artichoke dip and sourdough bread. And so I think because I make relatively healthy choices, I don't have the need to detox. I would only ever detox if I was eating super unhealthy and I really needed a break from kind of very heavy foods. But because my choices in my foods are never really that bad for my body, I don't need to detox that much at all. So, but yeah, everyone's different. You just have to listen to your body and see how you feel. If you're starting to feel lethargic, then maybe you should think about implementing healthier food choices in your life all the time so that you don't have to take moments out to detox for a week or two. I think that's it. I think we're all done. Alrighty. Thank you everyone for the questions, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye.